Welcome, and greetings to all. I am Shenlong Pendragon, the Lore Master. So as always, a quick disclaimer, I don't own any of the images or the story in this video. The credit for these all belong to their original sources. Ladies and gentlemen, I can only apologise for my long 7-month absence. I have had a lot going on with university and more or less just took over my life. Hopefully I'll be able to upload a bit more frequently now that my course is finished. I'm currently waiting for my results in graduation and making applications for various PhDs. So please do wish me luck for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from the title, we are starting today doing some Legends of China. These stories do resonate quite dearly with my heart, as my grandfather was originally from China himself. So hopefully you'll enjoy these videos and these stories as much as I do. And once again, I can only apologize for my long absence. And without further ado, let us move on to our first Chinese legend. So the legend that I'm going to be doing for you today is the legend of Longmu, also known as the Dragon Mother of China. This is a very ancient story which extends back to the Qin dynasty, so the very first ruling dynasty of the Chinese Empire. Hopefully you'll enjoy the story, and once again, without further ado, let us begin. The Dragon. Ancient, wise, powerful, mighty, rulers of the skies and the seas, the unstoppable masters of weather and fortune. This great ancient beast is truly the greatest symbol of China. Our story begins in 290 BC, when the second of 3 daughters, Wen Shi, went fishing along the banks of the Xie River. On this fateful day, the young girl found a large, round, white stone, unlike anything she'd ever seen before. Deciding to take the stone home with her, she carried it all the way back to the village. That evening, the stone cracked open to reveal that it was in fact an egg, and from it hatched 5 baby snakes. Enchanted by the little beasts, Wen Shi decided to keep them rather than dismiss them. Despite her family's poor lineage, Wen Shi did her best to save up, sneaking the best food and giving it to her baby snakes, while keeping only scraps for herself. As the months passed, the snakes grew and grew, slowly maturing. Eventually, Wen Shi feared to leave them in the house by themselves, so she started taking them to the river with her. She found that the snakes were excellent swimmers, naturals in the water, and proved very useful when on her fishing trips, helping her to catch significantly more fish than she would have on her own. Eventually, these snakes grew and matured into 5 mighty, powerful dragons. During a great period of drought, the village began to suffer. Wen Shi, desperate to do something, asked the 5 dragons to summon the rains and save them. Without a second thought, the dragons heeded their mother's request, calling forth a great downpour that flooded the river and saved the village. After years passed, word of this event eventually reached the Emperor Qin Shi Huang of the Qin dynasty. He heard the people of the land call this mysterious Wen Shi Longmu, the mother of dragons. Occasionally, even word of her being referred to as a divine being had reached his ear. Intrigued, he sent her a message, requesting her present at his palace in Xianyang, far to the north, along the banks of the Yellow River. As a show of his good faith, he sent her a gift of gold and jade. Wen Shi had decided that she would heed the emperor's request and go to the palace, despite the far journey. She feared the emperor's wrath and did not wish to disappoint him, for no one dared insult the emperor by denying a request. However, the journey was long, and by this point Wen Shi was old and frail. Her dragons feared that the journey would take too high a toll on her body, and thus did not want her to go. When the emperor's emissaries arrived by ship to take her to Xianyang, the dragons hid beneath the great vessel, and as it departed, they dragged the ship back into port, refusing to let it go. Again and again the ship attempted to set sail, and again the dragons dragged it back, unwilling to allow their mother to make the arduous journey. Eventually, the emperor's men gave up, knowing that the dragons would never allow their mother to set foot outside the village that she had known, far away from where they could keep her safe. And so Wen Shi lived out a happy life in the village. But as all things do, it must come to an end. The old woman eventually died. Her 5 dragons, grief-stricken, honored her by taking on human form, whereupon they became known as the 5 Scholars. Determined that their mother should receive the burial fit for her title of a divine human and the mother of dragons, they crafted a tomb for her, fit for an empress, upon the northern slopes of Mount Shu, where they bore her to be entombed and remembered forever. In an alternative version of our story, only a single dragon hatched from the great white stone, and Wen Shi did indeed make it to the imperial court. While the emperor himself was polite and courteous and eager to hear her story, his sycophants, ministers, eunuchs and courtiers viewed her with distrust and mistaste, believing her to be no more than peasant trash, trying to sneak her way into the palace and worm her words into the ears of the emperor in an attempt to take his wealth and riches. Unimpressed with the rudeness of the imperial court, and unimpressed by the grandeur, Wen Shi decided that she wanted to go home, to live a simple life, and so she summoned her great beast. At once the dragon came forth. Awed into silence the court was, as they watched a mere peasant having the audacity not only to speak and summon a dragon, but to command and even ride upon its back. And so the dragon took Wen Shi home, where she lived out the rest of her days in peace and happiness. The story has touched the hearts of many in China, and even to this day, Longmu has been venerated as the patron god of children, parents, and parental love. During the early Han Dynasty, the Temple of Xia Tong, later renamed Longmu Ancestral Temple, was built in her honor. This temple, founded in Yuqing, Guangdong Province, contains the calligraphy from Emperor Hongwu himself of the Ming Dynasty. This beautiful artwork has been dedicated to her and written in the Emperor's very own hand. Unwilling to let her memory die, the Chinese people have restored this temple over 13 times, most recently between the times of 1905 and 1912, and then once more in 1985. A second temple was built to her in 1587, however, it has not been well preserved and fallen into disrepair. The Asha Temple is found at Shaoqing, again in Guangdong Province, close to the supposed birthplace of Longmu. A third temple can be found in Hong Kong, upon Peng Shao Island. This story is one of the legends of time that none will forget, for it is a story of love and devotion that few can hope to attain. And thus ends the legend of Longmu, the Dragon Mother of China. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story, and if you did, then please remember to like and subscribe for more lore, myths, legends, and stories. I do once again apologize for my long absence. Hopefully I'll be able to upload more regularly now. If you heard any background noise, I do apologize. There's very little I can do about it, I'm afraid, especially with a very loud, excitable dog in the house. Speaking of my dog, next week I'm hoping to upload a story covering a specific breed of dog, and that will be featuring my own dog Alaska. So please do look forward to that. I will be continuing to do this series, The Legends of China, for quite a while. I don't know how many videos I'll be doing. If anyone's interested, I'm not intending to do the story of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, because it is such a well-known story. I fear that I would just be retelling something that most people already know. So unless there is a big request for it, I'm not going to do it. Another thing, those of you who were with me 7 months ago will remember that I started a series known as The Great Battles. I am going to continue doing this, and the next great battle I'm hoping to do is the Battle of Sekigahara, which was the deciding battle for the start of the Edo or Tokugawa shogunate in Japan. So hopefully you will all be interested and look forward to that. If you have any requests on stories you would like me to do, then please leave them in the comments section. Also, as always, if you've heard an alternative version of this story, or if you think there's something I've missed out, please once again leave it in the comments section. All constructive criticisms are appreciated and accepted. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I am Shenlong Pendragon. Until next time, knowledge is power.